decisions yet. So when I graduated high school, went off on to college and started my trek to become qualified to do this stuff. From the time I started kindergarten until I graduated these schools was about 19 years, so 20 years, somewhere around there. So it's quite a long time, but had a good time the whole time. I've been doing it. Gosh, how long have I been doing it?
24?
I've been in the military 29 years. I've been flying for about 25 years, 24, 25 years. All those aircraft in the video there, I've flown all those types of aircraft. Like I said, I fly the Chinook now. I know that. Did I see Osama bin Laden in person? No. However, I can tell you, I can pull it up on here, and I can show you exactly where he was when we found him.
Ooh, can't do that, please.
Okay. 2005, right? All this happened in 2001, right? In 2005, 2006, I went to Pakistan because they had a huge earthquake. So we went there, humanitarian support mission, to basically move supplies up into the mountains because the mountains had all collapsed on the roads. There was no roads. So they used a lot of aircraft to move parts and pieces, you know, food and tents and building supplies, etc. So one of the places we went to was Abbottabad, Pakistan, right? It's named after Major John Abbott, Abbottabad. Anyway, every day we would go into this village and pick up supplies and take it into the mountain region of the Himalayas, right? Every day we flew over the compound, that compound right there on the right. That's where he was when they got him. You can Google all this stuff, so it's not you know, secret of any kind. But it's kind of cool because I flew over that house probably 100 times, and then we got him like 5 years later. So it takes that long for sometimes for us to develop the situation, what we call gathering intelligence, if you will, before we'll act, because we don't want to be wrong. You got to get it right. You got to do it right the first time. So it's kind of like a math question. Clara?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I don't know that last one. All right, Clara asked, how long did it take to find bin Laden? Was it easy to find him? Well, we kind of went through the timeline there. We got him in 2011, so 10 years is how long it took. In my opinion, we kind of knew where he was at, but it's like a spider web, right? If you knock the spider out first, the web is still there. So in my opinion, we went in and started to dismantle the web before we went after the spider. So that's my opinion. Was it easy to find him? I think so. Not very smart people, I'm telling you. All right, she wrote, am I still in? Am I still in the Army? Is that what you mean? Yep, I still am. I do it every day. You saw those guys jumping out of the aircraft, parachuting. Did that last week, so something we do all the time. All right, first one. How inspired are you to do what I do? It's kind of an honor. Not really inspired, other than it's just what I do. It's what I've wanted to do pretty much my entire life, is to serve either my country or, like I said, as a fireman. It's just what I wanted to do pretty much my entire life. Good question.
That's by Jackson.
Jackson, Quisenberry, where you at? What's up, Jackson? Was he in a cave? He was not. We kind of went through the house he was in, right? He was not in a cave. He did live in a cave, yes, in a region called the Tora Bora Mountains, if you ever want to do a history paper. That's where he went. That's where he was at during the 9/11, whenever the event happened. That's where he was at, in a cave. So, not a very fun place to live.
It is by Lavisa.
Lavisa. Wow. How fun is it to fly an airplane? We call it an airplane because it flies, right? So you got fixed wing airplanes, those are like the ones you see flying around, wings straight out. And then you have rotary wing airplanes. That's what I fly, is a rotary wing. How fun is it? Absolutely the best job in the world. It's what I want to do. Everybody says that about their job. You know, baseball players love baseball. I do too, but it's the only thing I've ever wanted to do. So is it fun? Absolutely, it's fun.
This is by Lucas.
Lucas Stevens. Where did I learn to fly? Good question. All right, I started my military career when I was in college. As soon as I graduated college, I went to Fort Rucker, Alabama, and I spent a little over a year going through the basics on how to fly. Then I went back to school to be a test pilot, and then I went back to school to be an instructor pilot, and I went to some other schools. But I've been doing it, like I said, 24 or 25 years, so it's a good question.
Tell them what a test pilot and an instructor pilot
All right, my lovely wife here is asking me to tell you what a test pilot is. A test pilot is if an aircraft breaks or whatever, I gotta go out and they put it back together and somebody has to fly it the first time to make sure it works. It's not really fun, but somebody's gotta do it, right? And then an instructor pilot, you're basically just making sure that everybody is doing what you're supposed to do, kind of like the teachers, if you will. Okay. Isabella, right in front of her. All right, 2 questions. How did they kill him? You can Google it. They shot him. Nothing too crazy there. How did everyone feel when they found him? It's kind of like getting the touchdown in football. I'm not gonna lie. It really is. We trained for this mission, you know, from what they did to us. It was like, we're coming, and we got him. It was like scoring a touchdown. Good question. Allie Davis. Oh, yeah. How scary was it to be there? It's a good question. Anticipation of an event is horrible, right? They call it anticipatory anxiety, right? Get ready to take a test, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna do well. But when you take the test, not that bad. So getting ready to go is way worse than actually being there. Like I said, she has the hard job. She's got the one. She has to deal with being prepping to go, and then she has to deal with everything here while I'm gone. So it's a good question. And am I still in? Yes, I'm still in.
Now, I have a question.
Yes.
Was it a secret from your entire family? Like, could you tell anybody about the mission, or?
Question was, could I tell her about the missions? As far as my wife knows, I fly rubber donkeys into, she has no idea what I do. So what I do, yes, is outside. Everything I'm telling you is on the internet, but I can't talk about specific missions, can't talk about, you know.
especially when they're going.
Well, yeah, especially when they're going on. When something bad happens and they shut off our internet, that's the worst because it'll be in the news. You guys will see it in the news, but they shut our internet off and our phones off so we can't communicate. So she sits back here and wonders and worries. You know, it might be 3 days before I can call her. So that's the crappy part. How high can my helicopter go? A friend of mine did a mountain rescue on the top of Mount McKinley in Alaska at 22,000 feet. So it can fly probably around 26, 27,000 feet before what we call a surface ceiling. Can't go any higher than that. Highest I've been is about 16 or 17,000 feet.
You didn't interrupt me.
Where's Mr. Crawford at?
Brogan, I think you're.
Come on, Brogan. All right. This is my flight helmet, right? This is what we always have to wear. It's called the HU 56. It weighs about 4 pounds right now. When I get a set of goggles on it, I get a weight bag on the back of it, and all the other stuff weighs about 7 or 8 pounds. It's kind of a big deal, kind of heavy. All right, next. It's called the Aviation Life Support Equipment Vest. Overseas, it would weigh about another 20 pounds because I'd have it full of ammo and some water and a little bit of food and whatever. But I'm just put this on. Doesn't fit him very well, but how heavy is that? Pretty heavy, he says. All right. Underneath this, overseas, I also have my own body armor, weighs another 16, 17 pounds or so. Right here, I talked about the oxygen. This is an oxygen bottle that goes through these tubes, plugs into my helmet so I can breathe. Anything above 10,000 feet, we try and have oxygen. Weapon goes here. A lot of flashlights, a lot of just things you would need on a daily basis. Imagine sitting in your car for 8 or 9 hours and you can't really get up, but you've got to have everything with you. So we always have a lot of pockets, cargo pockets, and all this stuff here, so I can just get to what I need without having to get up. Hang on.
And how hot does it get there with all this on?
How hot does it get? Hottest I ever saw was on the flight line in Iraq, and we have what's called an oak gauge, outside air temperature gauge, and it goes in centigrade, right? It topped out at about 64 degrees centigrade. So when you go to your science class or whatever, you figure out what that temperature is. 64 degrees C.
There you go. Figure out what it is Fahrenheit.
64 degrees.
Okay.
Let me do the math in my head real quick.
You've heard of gas masks, right? It's gonna mess your hair up, sorry. All right. 2003, Saddam Hussein, when I was in Iraq, is the only time I ever had to wear this thing for real, and it's a life-altering event. One of the questions was, how scary is it? Putting this thing on for real was probably the most scariest thing I've ever had to do. Way out in front of flying. Flying is easy compared to wearing this thing on. Stamina.
Why is it so scary?
You're so good.
The problem with this, it's hard to talk. Say something. Yeah. Can't talk very well through it, so it's hard to communicate. Also, if he's wearing the same clothes I'm wearing and everything, we all look alike, you can't tell who he is. So you can pop off the dark eyes when it's clear, and we almost had to tell who people were by their eyes. You just look at them and say, oh, that's Bill, that's Bob. So we learned lessons to put masking tape or duct tape on our sleeves to put a name so we knew who the hell we were. Players did not get a chance to write down questions.
Or 7th graders, I don't think.
Or 7th graders or whatever. Fire a question from anybody. You got the rank structure just like in football. You got captains, you got the coaches, right? You got enlisted guys who are the backbone of the military. military. They're the ones who work on everything and fix everything and make everything happen. Then you've got commissioned officers, which are your captains, your majors, your colonels, your generals. They're in charge of everything. And then you got us warrant officers, and all we are is technical experts at what we do. All I do is fly that thing. That's my sole job. I don't have to be in charge of anybody. I don't have to fix anything. I just fly. That's what that means. Right? Inability of hemoglobin to carry oxygen, right? For all you science guys out there. It's one of the things we learn in flight school, right? Your blood just can't carry enough oxygen. That's why we wear the oxygen that Mr. Crawford was wearing. Anytime we get above 10,000 feet, we kind of have to keep track of each other. Because if you go through hypoxia, your lips will turn purple, your fingernails, underneath your fingernails will turn blue, and you start making dumb decisions. You can't communicate. So we go through training so we can see, so that we have an idea of when we're getting into that problem, so that we don't get into it. That's a great question, though, my friend. We're going against him, right? And he would launch. Anybody ever heard of a Scud missile? He would launch Scud missiles at us, and inside those missiles were chemical weapons that are designed, if you breathe it, it will burn your lungs, create blisters, and you'll drown from the inside out. That's why we wear the gas mask. Never happened to us. He would shoot a missile at us, we would shoot it down, so they never impacted. The closest one that they were supposed to impact was like 17 kilometers away, which is still pretty scary. But first time you put that on, it's 120 degrees. You put all that on, and now I'm in charge, and I'm trying to find out where all my people are, and all I can do is see their eyeballs. So it's horrible, horrible, horrible. Red shirt.